Hi, friends. It's Marianne Goldweber, spiritual teacher, medium clairvoyant, and owner of a village personal and spiritual development center. Coming to you live tonight from our video podcast called Marianne's House. So, thanks for joining me tonight. I wanted to talk about what's going on astrologically, what's going on at this time of the year, and give you guys some tools of understanding so that you can allow yourselves to be more proactive in creating a game plan for yourself. So grab your cuppa. I got my trusty Diet Coke, because it's Diet Crack. Anyway, I'm glad you could join me. So we made it through the holidays. What a year. It's been a year. So anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you guys and talk about how important it is this time of the year in order to be done, finish some things, and take those awarenesses and create new game plans for the coming year. I'm not one for New Year's resolutions because I think sometimes those are, they end up, like these empty promises that we make ourselves. So the process to manifesting better things in our life is we can't really look at what we want till we look at what we've had. And so I want to leave you guys tonight with a little inspiration about the process of reflecting. So the word reflecting is interesting because it's about looking back like through a mirror, like looking behind you, looking into a mirror, which is another perspective. It's a different way of looking at things, especially since we've already come through these experiences. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So Tina's here. Hi, Tina. Hi, Ralph. Nice to see you guys. I'm going to wrap this thing up pretty quick. But I just wanted to give you guys this live feed tonight so that you can get started on some of these things before the new year rolls in. Not that the new year is a day that we have to get these things done. It's really about this time of year and utilizing it for what it's really for. With all the hustle and bustle and all the man-made craziness that they put around the holidays, it's really a reflective time. It's a time of not being, it's about being still, and it's about being present, and it's about celebrating, the change of season. And so all these holidays exist around this time. But this is actually a natural time for death, for things to go into hibernation, okay, or to go underground. And so we've had a lot of deaths in this time of the year, from October until the time of winter. It's a time of everything going that needs to go away underground and rest and regroup. So even if we've had deaths in our life, in our families, in our friends, they're not the body. This body passes and fails, but who we are does not die. And so they're always at work with us. They're behind the scenes, inspiring us. They're guiding us, giving us hope. And the transition from, the loss of the human person and to accepting them in their form, that acceptance of that is part of the grief process for our brains and our human self. So reflecting, let's talk about that. So I reflect all the time, okay? Well, I try to, okay, but when you are surrounded with chaos or all this activity, it's very hard to make time to sit still and to look at what just happened, okay? And most of us don't like sitting still because when we sit still, we think, and we think we feel, and then we, feel some kind of way, and then all these emotions bubble up. Well, when you initially go into a reflective place, it's usually after some cataclysmic event. That's kind of where the awakenings occur. And it shifts our perspective so severely sometimes that we just don't know which way's up. And so I use this process of reflecting usually after I come out of an event. So it's kind of like a football team, okay? After they have their game, they all take space the next couple of days or the next week, and they look at their video, and they watch their game, and they talk about how they could have done it better or different, what worked, what didn't work. And it just makes them stronger as a team, okay? So we can't really, the universe can't really help us if they don't know where we're going. And so we send all these mixed messages. We say one thing, we do another. We make plans, they don't follow through. And so let's sit with some of these things. Okay, so for instance, I recently had a loss in my family. Okay, and so I have taken the last few days to really sit with that. I call it sitting with it. Okay, this is the process of stopping or ceasing movement. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is stop, and then we need to rest, and then we need to reflect, then we need to regroup, then we execute. Okay, so I because it's so many people, it's so many people having a different relationship with a different experience in these events, that I sit with that, and I look at what happened, and I give myself the space and time to just be with that feeling and that experience that I just had. And so it gives us an opportunity to look at, ourself, our own mortality. It gives us an opportunity to sit with the person and the relationship that we had with them, whether it was good or bad. And so as these emotions and these things start to bubble up, this is where we utilize that process of letting it out or putting it on paper. It's just our feelings, we just let them out. And so the sitting and reflecting is looking back at that experience and that event. And then I process what I'm feeling about that on paper, and then I take it outside and I offer it as a giveaway or in gratitude for the situation, the person, my relationship to them, my feelings about it, good, bad, or otherwise. And I offer that as a giveaway to the universe, to my helpers, to say, I had this human experience, and this is what I've learned from this, and this is what I'm keeping and taking with me. And the rest of this experience I'm going to surrender and release back to you. And so, in gratitude for that. And so, this is a process that takes time to learn how to do. But the problem with most of us is we don't want to stop, because if we stop and sit still, we'll feel. And quite often, when we have a cataclysmic event in our life, it triggers a lot of other things that we've never grieved or we've never sat with or reflected on. And so it's not just about this one thing, it's about a string of these things that we've never really finished. So you got to kind of peel it back. So this one cataclysmic event, this death, has opened the grief closet to all the things that I've never sat with and grieved. Okay, so this is why initially it takes quite a long time to stay in this process of reflecting, feeling, releasing, and and gratitude. So if this is new for you guys, okay, forever who's ever listening to this, usually there's some cataclysmic thing that knocks us out of the illusion of our life. Whether that's a death of someone, a death of something like a marriage or a job or some loss, and it kind of knocks you out of that illusion of what you thought your life was, and it takes your breath away. It's because you're laying on the floor wondering how the hell I got here. All right, and so again, if you have these processes, this process of working through those things and reflecting on it, there's a lot to be learned. So, for instance, let's say that let's say we have a relationship that's ending, and so initially we're in denial, okay, and I can say in my own experience that, I when I first sat with that, okay, it was not pleasant, and I had to realize that on some level I was deceiving myself, that it was really broken, and that was a really bitter pill to swallow, and that these things that we did in the ending of these things was not our highest and best expression. But people tend to target each other with what they're feeling when they're going through these things, and because it is a process, so you go from denial to anger, okay, to sadness, to surrender, and then acceptance. And nobody's really taught us how to do that. And so again, it's a process. And so you're angry, and then you're sad, and then you're okay with it, and then it's and it's a roller coaster at first, and eventually it levels out, and you don't really get over it. You get through it. And so, if we take each thing in our life, every experience we've had, whether it's getting married or getting divorced or getting your first job or your first love, or all of these things that we've never really sat with and looked at, what was the purpose in this experience? Who was I that I made the choice to accept this into my life? What did I learn from this person or situation? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about other people? And then I process that on paper and I give it away or let it go through burning it. So for me, burning, I love burning things. And there's lots of ways to do release work. And so, but I want to talk more about the actual reflecting process or sitting with things. So the first thing you need to do is stop, cease movement, okay? Sit still, okay? Rest. I have to tell you guys, over the last 2 weeks, I have slept more than I have slept because, again, we're so busy that we're neglecting ourselves and our processes of self-care that are super important in order to keep the energy level higher to navigate some of these things. And, I work this just like everybody else. And so it's easy to come away from your routines and rituals for yourself when other people's needs, or this hurry scurry fear stuff, it affects you, and so you start reacting, not responding. And so first thing I did was rest, okay, and regroup. Okay, so I stopped. I cleaned my house. I put all my things away. I started doing that stuff. Now, I can't lie. I have my table, my sewing table behind me because I was making a lot of gifts this year. And so that's still up. But, I cleaned my house. Tomorrow, because we're out of the full moon, I'm going to smudge my house tomorrow. And so I'm going to clean it, clear it, and make room and space. And so I rested over the last few days. And it gave me an opportunity when I was dreaming or laying there thinking about what the hell just happened. That was a lot. There was a lot. And again, we've got some astrological influences going on right now that are not easy. Okay, Mercury's retrograde. And so, communications during the holidays with a full moon, okay, that was a recipe for disaster. Even in my own world, there were some misunderstandings. Okay, and so I sat with that. I had to sit with that. And so as I was resting and reflecting, I really took the time to kind of parcel it out. There was family stuff, there was holiday stuff, there was death stuff, there was, this time of the year, events and things I have going on or don't have going on. And so again, I'm giving myself the time to feel, to sit with that and feel what I'm feeling about it. I'm sad, I'm angry, but I don't call people up and do that, okay? I try not to, okay? It's hard. But I don't call people up and bleh, okay? I take it to paper and I sit with it. And then I take it outside and I burn it, okay, as a giveaway. And so again, this is a process. And most of us don't really look back. And so what did I learn about myself? Well, I learned that I'm not, if I'm not in a good place, I'm not going to respond well. So I have a responsibility to myself and other people to make sure that I'm doing self-care so that I'm not low and I'm not giving you I want to give you my best version, I don't want to come to the table depleted. Why? It's late. Anyway, oh, that's better. Hello. Yeah, so that was an awareness that I had fallen off some of my self-care programs that I know to do for myself. And so I got back on the wagon and really started getting back to the things that I know that I should be doing that I tended to neglect during these times where other energies seemed more important than my self-care. But I can't share this enough, guys, that if you're not in a good place, nobody's in a good place. You don't have the energy to say no. You don't have the energy to set boundaries. You don't have the energy to show up. And so we have a responsibility to ourselves and to other people to make sure that we're full, rested, and inspired. Because when you go out in that world, you're navigating all these other energies, and you have to, know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to not insert yourself, and to when to back away, and that takes energy. So I have classes every Tuesday night, and they are broke out with all the things that we're talking about tonight. So we have defining our relationships. Okay, that's another thing. A lot of people realize that some of the relationships that they're in, or that they've been giving energy to, are not what they thought they were. Okay, and again, we don't haven't even developed a relationship with ourselves, so we don't really know how to discern people and relationships in a healthy way. So that class is paramount. Wonderful class. It helps you define all your roles, all your relationships, so that you know who to put in the right category, and who people are. So it helps us really kind of sort things out, especially if you're being disappointed by people or situations over and over. Okay, the common denominator in all of those is you. And so, again, sometimes we're not clear with ourselves. Sometimes we think it's one thing and someone else thinks it's something else. And so we have to learn how to communicate. So there's a lot of different things that go on in that class, defining our relationships. It talks about our responsibility in relationships to ourselves and others, and then how to compartmentalize those. I also do a dream class. Dreaming is off the hook right now. Okay, so I would highly recommend you guys write those down, because that's the only way that the universe has to really get a hold of you when you're asleep and you're paying attention. Everybody, if you don't remember your dreams, you're probably not sleeping well. And so, again, part of the dream interpretation class that I have on once a month on Tuesdays talks about how important sleep is, not only to our dream time, but to our mental health, to our physical health, to our spiritual health. And those are the times when the universe can get a hold of you, and they show you everything in like in a movie, in a pictures, and everything in that dream is symbolic. And so once you understand the symbolism, and once you work at trying to sleep better, then you're going to get a much more active dream time, which is where we sort out our waking crap is in dreams time. So join me for that class. These are all on Zoom. I'm going to take all the classes and I'm putting them on Zoom. And so they're all virtual. So my clients all over the country can attend. And so I love having people in person, but, again, it's easier on a Tuesday night for people to show up on Zoom than it is to get in their car and drive here in the winter. So I'm doing that way for now. So we have those classes, and we also have like astrological, like the natal chart class. That is such a great tool for self-awareness. I can't even tell you. For those of you who have taken that class, you might want to testify while we're on here, because it is such an eye-opener to know your strengths, to know your astrological weaknesses, to know how certain astrological influences affect you specifically. So I'm a Pisces, okay? Mercury is one of my challenging planets, and so when I'm clear, everybody else isn't, and when I'm not communicating well, everybody else is clear. So you learn that in the astrology class, how these planets affect you specifically, given your astrological makeup. So it's a wonderful class for self-awareness and how to identify your strengths and weaknesses that way, and things that we can work on, things that we have to work on, to be better versions of ourselves. And so it's a wonderful thing. I also do a class that's about energy. Okay, some people call it empathy, some people call it being empathic. We all have it. We are all empathic, okay? But the ability to read energy and to navigate energy is not something that we need to be victimized by, okay? So I do this also, all these classes as workshops in environments where people serve others, okay? And again, the self-care class goes with this, because you have to have energy to navigate energy. And once you understand how energy works, and understanding our empathic connection and how important it is to self-care and service especially, whether you're serving a family, whether you're serving yourself, we have to have understand how energy works so that we can navigate it in a better way. So that's understanding our empathic connection. Great class. And that's fun to do with friends or with a group of people, especially professionals who work in industries that serve others. Okay? So anyway, so we got all these wonderful classes. So go to my website, MarianneGoldweber.com. Take a look at all the classes. So let's take this time, guys, over the next few days, especially since, with New Year's Eve, I'm not a big be out in the world with, people celebrating the New Year anymore. Okay, I did that when I was younger. For me, New Year's is a really reflective time, and I spend it with the people that I want to spend the year with coming. And so in my own personal life. And so I am either by myself or I'm, just calling up the folks that, that mean a lot to me. But I take that time to rest and reflect and to process what I'm feeling because we've all experienced so many things and we have to let that out. If we don't let out those emotions, it will make you sick. I just talked to someone today and she's having some vocal issues. Well, she's been with family that, and she's, again, we all have, all our families aren't perfect, okay? Just so you know. And again, a lifetime of not necessarily speaking her truth or speaking up. And so quite often we'll get dis-ease in those areas in our body where we're trapping that emotional trauma, okay? Or those things that we're just holding on to and not letting go of. So when I look at people holistically and they have dis-ease in the body, it usually tells me where they keep their emotional trauma or crap, okay, or the unprocessed things. And so quite often, if we can start working on those specific areas, whether it's through medical, energy work, emotional processing, all of those things can clear those areas and create and facilitate healing if it's not too far gone. So again, when we look at issues like fibromyalgia or like I said, thyroid trouble or throat trouble, this is when you never speak up or you weren't able to speak up. Okay, so it gets that energy and that chakra gets stuck. Our heart chakra. Okay, that's where we keep everything that hurts us. This is why when you look at, heart disease, okay, it's because we never let go of those things that hurt us and we hold it in that place. And so it affects that organ or those things in that area. Now, the biggest one that I see all the time is digestive, okay? So if you have digestive issues, quite often I see people who push their crap down and they don't let it out, okay? And it's interesting because there's a number of different, Western medicine folks that are understanding that digestive trouble has to do with not what you eat, but what's eating you. And so they're operating from a more holistic standpoint on this, okay? So stomach trouble, anything that eliminates your gallbladder, your colon, all of those systems are very delicate. And when you hold on to your emotional crap, usually you can't poop or you poop too much. Or, again, you end up with, your processes are blocked. And so we have to create healing physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Will sometimes give you the opportunity. So people who are under a lot of stress, who are just sucking it up and keep moving, that's, they're not taking time to rest and take care and eat right and do all those things. And they push their emotion down. It ends up in digestive issues. So when you look at the dis-ease in the body, it usually gives us an indicator of where people are holding on to some of their emotional and physical trauma. So we can help work through that and clear some of that up, but again, we can't do that. Most of us don't know how to self-care. We were taught that it was selfish or that other people's needs were more important than our own. Well, I can tell you now, guys, okay, through all the years of doing this, is you cannot fill for an empty cup. You're not giving people the best of you. You're not responding, you're reacting. And it's not it's not the way it should go. So self-care is mandatory if you want to be present and serve. You can't set boundaries if some people don't even have boundaries, okay, with themselves or with other people, and so there's lots of programs, there's lots of systems that we can use to create that holistic process for healing and wellness. But we can't do that if we can't acknowledge it, okay? So sitting with it isn't always pleasant, okay? But if I can help, whether it's a one-on-one session, so we can help you through some of those processes individually. I also do these in a group. We do them during the classes. If you and your friends or your family want to work through a specific thing and give them those tools to navigate those things, You can have a group session with a class. It doesn't have to be a channeling, necessarily just a channeling event. So you can have your group of friends or your group of, people in recovery or whoever, family, getting them together and getting everybody on the same page. And these classes are wonderful because then going forward, you guys all have heard the same thing and you're all able to navigate these things in a healthier way, more holistically, and everybody is responsible for themselves, and everybody has the tools to do it for themselves. Now, whether they choose to do it or not, that's between them and their divinity, okay? But as long as you have these tools and you're managing them, it really helps us clear the road to all the things that we don't want. And it allows us to be accountable to where we are, and the universe sees that you're accountable. So it releases these blocks to things that you want to manifest in your life. They're already here. It's just that our unfinished stuff is in the way of good stuff appearing in your life because we keep doing the same dumb stuff over and over and over again, expecting a different result with it. So let me take 2 seconds here to see who's here. So reflecting this is the time of year for it. It's what else we got? The weather's crappy. We're not able to be outside. That's the point, guys. Is sitting still in this time of year helps us get a much better game plan for the year going forward. And again, I also talk to, like when my son was little, I'm like, oh, so what do you want to see happen this year? Or what did you learn from that? And I'll say, I learned this from that. What'd you learn from that? And we would have these conversations about things. And then we'd say, okay, well, what do you want to manifest in your life going forward? And how can I help you do that? And these are the things I want in my life and how you can help me do that. So we're a team. Families are teams. Oh, they should be, but they're, sometimes this family of origin is not necessarily a family either. But, our village, our collective family, okay, whoever that is to you, we can work together then, and all of us, helping each other get where we need to go, and holding space for each other while we're feeling some kind of way. And so, we can teach our children this too, guys. I have to tell you, unreleased emotion is the cause of so much of our trauma in our world right now. Nobody's being heard. Nobody is taking the time to be compassionate with each other. We have given, no one taught us how to process what we're feeling. I was taught to suck it up and, compromise myself for other people's dysfunction. They were allowed to have emotion, but I was not. Okay. That's not healthy. Okay. And so it's our job as parents to be leaders in our own life and to help give our children the tools so that they know how to navigate this world without us. But they can't do that if we're not good examples. I did not have good examples, and it took me a lifetime to unravel some of those things. So I know you guys can agree. Okay, so we can't teach what we don't know. So so this time of reflecting is so important, and the process of letting it go and learning from it. My teacher, Dave. I had a lot of resentments about things in my life when I was awakening, and I was constantly blaming everybody for my pain and suffering. Okay, and Dave used to say to me, Marianne, everyone that appears in front of you is a teacher. We invited them from the other side. We all agreed to this. And some of these folks I agreed to while we were here in the human life. I'm like, yeah, come on, let's be together, I was not a good picker. Okay, I didn't know how to discern people. And so I had a lot of resentments when things went bad or they treated me badly. And so Dave said, Marianne, everyone's a teacher. They're showing you an aspect of yourself or something you need to learn. And so take the lesson and let the teacher go. So part of this, guys, is release or letting go or having funerals for the past. And that's part of the reflecting and purging and letting go process. So if I can help with that. Now, if you guys come to Moon Lodge or if you come to Serenity Sunday, I always have the fire pit out there and we're always letting something go. So as a village, as a community, whoever's there that day, if they have something they want to let go of, we just take it outside and we hold the energy for each other while we let go of those things that we're finished with. And letting go means being finished. We're not going to be dragging the trash back in after God takes it out. And so truly those rituals of release are in gratitude for the lessons learned, for the experience we had, and it's made me better. Our experiences are really designed to make us better, not bitter. And if we're carrying resentments, that will make you sick. Those we hold those resentments in places, and it causes disease. And so let's work through those things. Let's take the lessons. Let's let the experience of the teachers go, and it's made us better for it. So it's really leadership camp, honestly. So, all right, who's here? Oh, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Ralph, hey Hector, Stephanie, Judy, Denise, Susan, Jen. Hi Carla, Susie. I don't have my glasses on, guys, so I'm sorry. Ashley. You guys are so fun. I love that. It's so funny, guys. You have to remember, everybody knows everybody's got a different connection to each other. So it's so fun to see Nikki talking to her Aunt Susan. That's funny. I know a lot of your families. Okay, we've had family events. Okay, families are so funny. Sometimes it can turn into a giant grief group too. Uh, oh, thanks so much, Susie. Oh my God, it was rough. I actually had a spider bite on my forehead. Oh my God, looked like I was growing a unicorn horn. Yeah, I've had some health issues that I've had to address myself. So I'm back in the game and doing well. So thank you for that. Also, I put on makeup today. So anyway, Miss Barbara. I know I do feel like Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara never called my name. Marianne. She never looked in her whopper dumper sopperoo and in her mirror and found me. Nikki said our family is definitely a wild bunch. Oh, girl, you really. I mean, I have seen families you wouldn't believe. And, we give so much power and energy to those words family. And so, again, when we define the relationships, biology does not make us family. Okay? Biology does make us related to each other, but it doesn't always make us family. And there's so many dynamics in a family that are hilarious, like who's born first, what gender you are, what cultural conditioning you had, really, families are so complicated. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I love families. Aw. Well, I'm very grateful for all you guys. So again, when we look, well, we have to stop to reflect. And that again, guys, it will make you feel something. Okay? When you sit still, it's almost like, now the universe can catch up with you. They can't catch you while you're running around the track, okay, with your hair on fire. Okay, they wait till you fall down or pass out before, we sit still. I don't want to be forced into stillness, guys. I've been forced into stillness over the last year. Well, let's see. Over the last year, I have been forced into stillness more times than I can count. I've had two car accidents. I hit a deer. Then I had a teenager hit me. Got COVID twice for both of those accidents, okay? And I ended up with COVID, okay? And then I had rotator cuff surgery. Okay, the universe is like, stop moving, sit still. And there's so much more to it than just sitting still. I wasn't just, they didn't just knock me flat for that. But quite often, they're trying to get us out of the mix, too. Sometimes maybe we're interfering in a situation and we need to get removed from it. So before the universe shuts you down, let's say, is my involvement helping or is my involvement interfering in someone else's stuff? I have to sit with that before I make every decision. And again, when we've got full moons, retrogrades, new moons, okay, sometimes we overstep and then we have amends to make and other things. So, so the more we sit still, the more we feel. And to feel is to heal. Okay? We can't move forward if we don't know what we're feeling. And it takes time. And it's a wonderful process. And sometimes you can't do it by yourself, guys. So, whether it's a session with me or you need counseling through a very painful situation with a mental health professional, we have to destigmatize this stuff. Okay? There is no shame in my game. Okay? I know a ton of mental health professionals, physicians, people that are compassionate and kind, but we've got a mental health crisis going on, and isolation is the worst thing for anyone. So, I can only get you so far. Okay, I am not a counselor. Although a lot of what I do is about compassion and sitting with you and getting this divine spiritual perspective and helping through your human stuff, but I am not a counselor, and I will refer you to programs and resources. Okay, so don't suffer alone. Okay, if you've got things coming bubbling up that need addressed, then let's get you the holistic help you need to navigate that. Okay, because we want you well. We don't. No one should be suffering, and so there is hope. There is help, and you just gotta let somebody know. So if I can count on me, and we can get you to the resources that you might need. So, yeah, that's that. So I represent the spiritual body. We have professionals that represent the emotional body. We have professionals that are the physical body, and we work together. Okay, my job is to get you well. Their job is to get you well. To give you the tools so that you can help yourself as well. And again, they can't help you if you're not willing to do it or work the programs that you get. There's a program for me. There's a program for mental health. There's a program for physical, and that's how we operate holistically. So let's commit to 2024 to learning from the past, from experiencing the emotion of it, and taking the lessons and letting these experiences, giving them away in gratitude. Okay, because if it wasn't for those things, it wouldn't make you who you are. Every experience I've had has made me who I am, good, bad, and otherwise. Okay? And I want to leave a ripple in this world, a good one. I've left a ripple. I mean, sometimes, you're like that motorboat that creates that wake and it just knocks people off of their boat. I've been that. Okay? We can use our energy for good or we can use it for evil, just how we use it. And so we have a responsibility to ourselves and to other people to make sure we're our best version. And again, hanging out with the right people, aligning with folks that have that same philosophy. So, um, you know, that's where we're at. So it takes a village. Can't do it by yourself. And I'm so grateful for all of you and your time tonight. Um, if there's anything I can do, don't hesitate to reach out and call me. I have a huge event at Wagner's of Westlake, again on January 20th. So if you guys want to come for, oh my God, they're going to have like yummy appetizer, dinner and a show thing with me. And so get your table together, come on out and join me. I don't read everybody in the room, but I read a lot of people in the room. But you all walk away with such a fun experience. And again, I'm socially inappropriate. I'm a stand-up show, okay? So the other side is a lot of fun. And I love doing those huge events. I really do. And everybody walks away with such a great experience. We come together, we're meeting other like minds and people in that room. We all have the common thread of we've all lost people. We are all spiritually curious. And so I love that event. So January 20th, Wagner's. If you go to my Facebook page, it's also going to be on my webpage as of tomorrow. If you go to Wagner's of Westlake's website, the link for everything is on there. And I'll post the link in here when I hang up. So there's a Facebook group for it. So it's dinner and a show with me at Wagner's in Westlake. So, hey, if you guys want me in your city, any theater, any venue, if you have ideas and places you want me to perform there, just shoot me a private message and I'll give them a call. I love to travel. Oh my God, I'm going to take this show on the road. This is my new 2024 realization. I need to get on the road too, so, and meet you guys where you're at. So I love traveling. It's one of my favorite things to do. So anyway, so let's see who else is here and I'll say goodbye. I'm just grateful that all of you guys had joined me tonight, and don't be afraid to sit and rest and reflect. The world will continue revolving without you, okay? Yeah, take some space. Let's regroup and let's make 2024 your year, a year to remember, okay? Lots of changes that we need in our world, and it starts with me and you. So thanks so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and if I don't talk to you, Happy New Year, and let's go out with a bang and let's get a game plan, okay? So this is Marianne Goldweber signing off. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Mwah! Keep the peace and pray for our world. Thanks for joining me.